how happy I am that I'm not standing in a studio in San Jose looking into a blank camera and hoping that someone out there is paying attention. Right? It's great to be here. 16,000 of us back together in Las Vegas, an amazing time. I want to thank all of you for choosing to spend time with us, because your time is the most valuable thing that you have. And I also want to congratulate all of you for what you did in the last 2.5 years. The people in this room delivered the technology that kept the productivity of the global economy moving forward during the pandemic. Congratulations. Now, we come here at a time where the world is very complicated. You think back to what we've dealt with over the last 5 years. We started with a global trade war, tariffs. We rolled into a pandemic. We dealt with social justice issues. We have a war in Ukraine. We have runaway inflation. We have supply chain issues. But other than that, things are pretty smooth. And what I would say is, that's the new reality we're going to deal with. Because if we've been waiting over the last 5 years for something to get better, or to wake up to things being back to normal, it just wouldn't happen. And I think that what we have to now deal with is that the new reality is that there's always going to be some sort of crisis. It just feels like that's the world we live in. But what we learned during the pandemic is that the technology is incredibly powerful. And the great news for all of you is that all of my peers, CEOs, heads of state, heads of government, everyone out there now understands what you do better than they did before. They got up close and personal with this technology, and then their minds started racing about what's possible. The conversations I've had with CEOs over the last 2 years about the technology is just incredible, because they lived it. And so now we all have the opportunity to take that lesson and the power of the technology and continue to drive the transformation that we're all trying to drive in whatever business or government entity that we work in. And I would argue that you have the full support of your executive team. And in this new world, we also have to remember that there are so many problems that we can actually solve with this technology. We talk about bringing people into the digital economy, and we learned during the pandemic, you may not like the mode of education that you had, but we can educate people over this technology. We can provide aspects of healthcare over this technology. And now that no one goes back to the office, we can hire people where they are. So we can actually leverage this technology to solve some of the biggest problems in the world. Now, back in 2019, we started talking about 4 key areas that we believe most everyone in this room are focused on. And we felt like at that time that we could help you with these 4 priorities. And I'm not confused. These are not your only 4 priorities. You have a lot more, as do we. But we know that the pandemic actually accelerated these. Everyone is re-architecting their applications, changing how you think about them, determining whether they're better run in the public cloud or in the private cloud, or better consumed as a SaaS offer. Everybody's going through that thinking right now. Or am I rewriting all of them to a modern cloud-native architecture? Every one of you now is trying to figure out, how do we actually make hybrid work work? Because that's the new world we live in. And it's not just about collaboration. Collaboration is key. But now you're operating in this massively distributed world where your employees are everywhere. Your colleagues are everywhere. Your applications are everywhere. Your data's everywhere. And now IoT is exploding, and we're adding more and more new devices. That fundamentally changes how we think about hybrid work because it crosses networking, security, collaboration, observability. All of those things need to be considered as we look at successful models for hybrid work in the future. And that same environment that you're navigating creates a very complicated threat landscape. And the threat actors are cranking it up. And a lot of the dynamics that I talked about at the beginning about things going on in the world are contributing to an incredible increase in cyber activity. Everyone here is probably seeing it. And it's going to force us to rethink our security architecture. And G2 and the team talked a lot about that at RSA last week, and you'll hear more about that today, as you will hear in all of these other areas as well. And transforming your infrastructure. We all built our networks based on applications running in a private data center and a very clear understanding of how our traffic was going to flow. And none of that exists anymore. And we've all been undertaking this for the last few years. But we have to really build these dynamic, agile networks that have security built in that can accommodate any traffic pattern, any user to any application anywhere. And that's different than for the reasons that we built these networks 15, 20 years ago. And as we think about these priorities, everything we do is about your success. Whether you're a partner and we want to help you find ways to gain profitability and deliver services and build a sustainable business, or you're a business entity, we want to help you and understand what are your priorities and what are the things that you're trying to achieve and work with you to do so, or you're a government, the same thing. It's all about your success. And when we spend time to really understand what it is you're trying to do, we can do great things together. And that's what we did with a customer that I love, Ford Motor. We worked together and understood their transformation and what they were trying to achieve, this whole move to EVs, the integration of technology into electric vehicle. And we built an incredibly tight relationship. You may have seen some of the announcements that we've made with Ford. And the great news is, instead of me telling you about it, we have my friend, the CEO of Ford, Mr. Jim Farley, who's going to join us today. Jim, are you there? There he is.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing? Hopefully you can hear me okay.
So, Jim, there's a few people in here who wanted to see if you could help them expedite their F-150 Lightning orders or their Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah, I have to apologize. I know there's 16,000 people there, but thank you for your patience. It's been really frustrating for all of us, but in a way, it's a high-class problem, but we're trying to break all the constraints. And anyways, thank you for your interest. And Chuck, thank you for all your partnership. You are an incredible leader, and I am personally so thankful to be able to work with you.
Oh, you're a kind man. It's been great. We've spent a lot of time talking about transformations because we've been going through one, and we spent a lot of time in the last year talking about supply chain because the issues are similar. But Jim, let's talk about how has technology evolved and become more relevant to what you do every day?
Well, there's three big changes happening in our industry. The first is, of course, electrification. You mentioned that. And what's cool about that is it's 20 or 30% moving parts. And the parts you remove from a car that are now digital are the ones that are expensive and they break. So the product is simpler, more reliable. Number two is partial autonomy. Yeah, full autonomy, that's going a little bit slower than everyone thought, but partial autonomy. We have in the next couple years the chance to push a button in a Ford and for you to go to sleep in your car or to leave 45 minutes later, spend that time with your family or friends in the morning, same in the evening, to be able to do WebEx or whatever. That's really going to change our cars a lot, that free time, that partial autonomy. And the last one is the most important, which is to upgrade our electric architecture, put new sensors in the vehicles, similar to what the smartphone industry did, and to ship software to the vehicle constantly to make the product and experience better for our customers. That last one, in my mind, is so much bigger than the previous two, and it will rip through our industry and change our customers' experience for decades to come.
Jim, that's fantastic. And as we talk about, everybody talks about digital transformation, and everybody's got projects going on. But what are you most excited about as you guys have been embarking on that and thinking about the next phases?
You know, it takes us about 4 years and about $1 billion to engineer a new F-150, or pick your model. And with the move to software differentiating a vehicle, when a Tesla Model S Plaid can outperform a Lamborghini, you know, we move from kind of these very expensive capital investments in tooling and plants to differentiate the product, bending sheet metal and improving the attributes, to software. The most exciting thing for me is that in my career for 40 years, I've never had the chance to improve the product, invent new capabilities for the customers after we launch the product. We've never been able to do it. And so moving to the digital product, that's the big deal. It's not electric. It's moving to a digital product, and having software be the big differentiator is going to completely change the game for Ford. In fact, it is so fundamental, I would say it's a refounding of the company. It's a completely different kind of company we have to create because of that single change. And I believe it'd probably be the most exciting thing that Henry Ford could come back in the last 118 years to do, is to come back at this moment because of that change.
That's very cool. So how do you think about, like, our partnership, Cisco? How can we help you, and what are the key things that we should be thinking about?
Well, first of all, I have to say thank you. You know, we all use WebEx at Ford, and
I'm sorry, hold on. Could you say that again, Jim?
Yeah. We use your product for everything. In fact, I found out I was going to be the CEO on a DX80. So your company is fundamental to our employees' experience. And I think that's where it starts. Anything you can do to help the digital experience for our employees is really helpful to us. Number two, you know, improving the connectivity, the security of the data, all the things that you mentioned as you intro this section are really incredibly important. And I believe it's not just employees' experience to be more digitally enabled. We can now bring WebEx into the car, which we're adding as a platform, but making that like a really big thing in your company to allow to do a WebEx during a drive and make that really productive, you will unlock, you know, millions and millions of hours for people because they're stuck behind their steering wheels for a lot of the miles, really not enjoying it. And I think the last one is benchmarking. You mentioned it on supply chain. I just am so impressed and blown away, frankly, with Cisco's supply chain. A lot of things that you do that you just do naturally, you are the best in the world. And companies like Ford can learn a lot from you.
Well, Jim, I really appreciate you saying that. Some of my customers may not think we're the best in the world right now, but we're doing our best. Hey, thanks for spending time with us. Thanks for the partnership, and we'll try to sell some vehicles while we're here this week, okay?
Thank you so much to all of you. Like my family, we all depend on you. We're the largest employer in America for our industry, and thank you, Cisco, and thank you to all of you.
Love it, Jim. Thank you. And if you would like to see the Ford Mach-E Mustang, there's one in the World of Solutions. So make sure you get over there and check it out, okay? And Jonathan, you're going to talk something about some of this connectivity thing, I think, a little bit later on. So as we think about what we should be working on together, there are a few areas that we think are super important. And my guess is the first one you would not disagree with, which is we have to simplify the things that we do with you. Amen. Can we get an amen? I'm back in the Southern Baptist Church all of a sudden. We really do, and we know that, and we're working on it. And I think if I think back to 8 or 10 years ago, I think we've made progress, but we still have more to do. And so you can just know that we're focused on simplifying our licensing strategy, simplifying your experience, simplifying how you think about common platforms, et cetera. So the teams are working on all of that as we speak. And you're going to hear about the experience from to Maya tomorrow on customer experience. We also want to continue to drive innovation. As we went into the pandemic, one of the things that I was uncertain about was how will we continue to innovate and deliver new technology and new products when everyone's sitting in their home office? How's this going to work? And I'm sure many of you had the same question about how are you going to do what you needed to do with everybody at home? And ironically, I think the teams actually accelerated the innovation that they've delivered. And this week we're announcing a lot of innovation that the teams have been working on over the last 3, 6, 9, 12 months, maybe even longer, that hopefully you'll be excited about. And as I was talking about earlier, we wanted to deliver. Can you go back one, please? Bear with me. Flip the slide forward one. There we go. Okay. We want to deliver unified experiences, a better customer experience for you. Our goal is to deliver cloud-based management platforms that actually have the same look and feel. We're working on the same single sign-on, things that just make your experience better with us. Todd is going to talk a little bit later today about something that you've done with the Meraki dashboard and the Catalyst portfolio, and I'll wait and let you talk about that, Todd, okay? Nexus Cloud, the SaaS application for managing data center technology powered by Intersight. We talked about predictive networks last week, the last couple of weeks, and so this week we're going to announce Thousand Eyes WAN Insights, where the teams have built technology integrated with AI and machine learning that actually can predict internet outages and help you think dynamically about how to avoid those and how to deal with them before they actually occur. And Todd's going to demonstrate all of this later today. We talked about security at RSA last week. G2 gave a shared vision for simple end-to-end security, Cisco Security Cloud, taking all of our technology areas, integrating them together in a global, cloud-delivered, integrated platform, network security for your users going to any cloud and any application with continued trusted access, Cisco Plus Secure Connect, updates to SecureX, and G2 is going to be coming on stage right after me because we know how important security is to everyone for us to talk about the security cloud. And then as we continue to reimagine applications or re-architect applications, we need modern cloud-native observability. So we're also going to be announcing AppDynamics Cloud, a full stack view with telemetry across the entire landscape with a focus on simplicity, usability, and an intuitive platform for you to empower your teams, and Liz is going to demo that a little bit later today as well. And as we think about all this technology, we are really focused on your experience. Whether we were talking about the simplification that I was mentioning earlier, Tamaya is going to talk about customer experience. The team's built CX Cloud to help sort of aggregate your experience with Cisco, and we're continuing to integrate more and more into that. The entire experience you have with Cisco, we want to be the best. And everything we find that is inhibiting your experience from being the best that it can be, we're going to tackle. And this week, I've already heard a few things from many of you that we need to do better. And I want to hear all of them. I want our team to hear those this week, what we need to do to make sure that you're having the absolute best experience with Cisco that you can possibly have. And again, Tamaya will be talking about that tomorrow. And one of the key tenets that we built into our strategy several years ago was choice. I think I used to joke when I became CEO, we gave you lots of choice on how you can consume our technology before. If you want to buy a box with integrated software on a net 30 purchase order, we'll sell it to you. And that's your choice, right? And now we want to sell you the technology however it is you want to deliver it. We've disaggregated certain technologies. We've virtualized certain technologies. Anything that we can deliver as a service, we want to deliver as a service. And we want to give you the option of purchasing as a service or buying it the way you traditionally bought it. And that's our commitment to you. And everything we do within the context of our purpose. And I have to say, I just want to make sure you understand, this is not rhetoric to us. We believe it, we live it, we walk it. And in 2019, we evolved the purpose statement of the company to power an inclusive future for all. Because we believe that our technology is at the core of connecting people all around the world, connecting people in rural villages, connecting people in areas of the United States that have been left behind, so that we can do what I talked about earlier: provide education, provide health care, provide opportunity, and provide jobs. And our community service activities, these are things that are very important to us. And when we say all, we mean all. That's why we got involved in homelessness in San Jose. That's why we've taken network academies into prisons in Europe and in the United States. We believe this, and we live it, and it drives who we are and how we think about interacting and working with you. And I want to close by just saying, first of all, reiterate how excited I am that we're together. We have a great few days planned. We have a lot of great education. We have a lot of product insights. The world of solutions is incredible. If you haven't been in there yet, you have to go. Check out the DevNet area, check out all the cool stuff going on. The team's worked really hard this year to bring solutions across our portfolio. The world of solutions was not built around our org chart. It was built around the technologies that you need us to deliver. And we are so committed to your success. We're so thrilled to be with you and to be spending time together live. And I'll close by saying thank you one more time. Thank you for hanging with us, working with us over the last few years during these very complex times. And just know that everybody on the Cisco team remains absolutely committed to your success and your success only. Thank you for being with us.
Please welcome to the stage EVP and GM Security and Collaboration, Jeetu Patel.
Hello, everyone. This is my first Cisco Live in person. I'm delighted to be here. I was told, Chuck Robbins is a very hard act to follow. But I'm a professional. I want to make sure that I'm not getting outflanked by some CEO. And so, what do? Well, this morning, I got here 4 hours ago, and I'm getting prepared. And I went straight to the hair and makeup room. Do it up. And I think they've done a good job, if I can say so myself, because just 4 hours ago, that's what I looked like. Well, in all seriousness, I'm excited to be here, and we're going to talk today about a very important topic, which is around security. And it's such a profoundly game-changing time and era where all of us and our safety is going to be dependent on how we actually manage cybersecurity. Warfare starts with cyber before it goes to air, water, and land. If you start to think about critical infrastructure, your power line, your entirety of your water system, all of these could be actually breached as a result of security. So today I want to talk to you about security and what are we going to all do collectively to make sure that we can make this world a safer place. Because in security, there's actually a very clear demarcation. There's the good people and there's the bad people, right? And so what I want to talk and start about is with three key trends that we have in security that we're starting to see our customers talk to us about. The first trend is the fact that businesses are going to be operating and competing as a holistic ecosystem, not as individual organizations. And what this means is that every single one of us will be impacted by what our customers, suppliers, and partners do. And it's not just something that we can protect ourselves. We have to protect the entirety of the ecosystem, or we will not be protected as a society. The second key trend is actually very tightly associated with this trend, which is around the fact that everyone's an insider. And what I mean by this is, we sometimes right now interact with people outside the organization much more so than we might interact with people within the organization. And humans are still one of the largest targets for a cyber attack. And so as you start thinking about this, what do we need to do to make sure that we protect everyone, whether it's a customer, supplier, partner, employee, contractor in a consistent way. That's going to be really important. And 56% of the breaches that occur because of negligence. They don't occur because someone has actually had malicious intent. So we have to make sure that this technology, to Chuck's point, gets to be simpler. Number 3 is hybrid work is here to stay. And when we talk about hybrid work, we're going to actually make sure that we're working through from anywhere, on any device, on any network, whether it's secure or unsecured, from any application, whether it's sanctioned or unsanctioned. And we need to make sure that we actually protect those. Now, you couple and you add to this the fact that 81% of you have told Gartner that you're going to be pursuing a multi-cloud architecture, where the complexity is only going to compound as you move forward. So when you really take a step back and you look at exactly what's happening in security, the complexity of these hybrid architectures and the fact that the threat landscape is ever expanding, what that's doing is it's actually changing the preference of customers to say, let's go out and make sure that instead of buying point solutions, we start buying integrated platforms. And those integrated platforms are the way that we can actually keep our organization secure. Now, by the way, security is a very interesting industry. 3,500 vendors in the market. No one owns more than 5% of the market if you take out, 1 or 2 vendors. And majority of the companies have 50 to 60 vendors within their organization. So this is actually getting to be untenable to go out and manage. So how is this market evolving? Well, if you think about the way that the market's evolving from a hybrid cloud perspective, there's 3 major computers in the world, and there's a 4th one, which is your private data center. So Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, those are the 3 major kind of infrastructure as a service computers. And what you're starting to see happen in this architecture is that more and more companies are saying, I want to go in a multi-cloud architecture. But each one of these companies are providing a siloed level of services from compute to storage to network to security. And so what does a company like Cisco do to make sure that we can actually really add value to your multi-cloud architecture? And we believe that there's a tremendous need in the market for abstracting networking and security from the entirety of the infrastructure so that you can actually pursue a multi-cloud architecture. You could actually pursue something that's a hybrid multi-cloud architecture, right? And what we're going to do is talk about the security cloud and how we're going to be able to deliver this integrated platform. Now, what does a security cloud mean? Well, imagine if you had a global cloud service. It was cloud delivered, it was an integrated platform for connectivity and security, and it was something that could go out and serve organizations of any shape and size. And the design goal and the guiding principles that we used for building this security cloud was it had to be cloud native. It had to make sure that it was unified from an architecture kind of perspective. It was multi-cloud, so we actually needed to make sure that we could steer traffic to any of the clouds that you might choose to go and look at. It had to be AI-driven, it had to be simple, and it had to be open and extensible, so we could go out and partner with even our competitors if we needed to, because the bad folks aren't our competitors, they're the threat actors. And we need to make sure that we can actually partner with everyone so that we can prevent organizations from being attacked when they don't need to. So those were the guiding principles. And the way that we've actually delivered this to the market, and we're really excited to talk about some of the proof points that we're going to have a little bit later, but the way that we're delivering this to the market is imagine if the security cloud started by making sure that we could provide secure connectivity. So whether you happen to be an employee of an organization that works out of a branch office or a home office or on the move in your Ford F-150 or happens to be in a public kiosk, we want to make sure that when you connect to the security cloud, we've got you covered. Now, it's not just the people that connect to the security cloud. If you happen to be in an organization where you have a lot of IoT devices, those IoT devices also need to be segmented and connected to the security cloud. Now, what happens is when you're in a branch office, you might be in the US and you connect to the security cloud, that's great, but what happens if you happen to be in Asia? You don't want to hairpin your traffic all the way from Asia to the US. So what we want to do is make sure that we have a scalable architecture that can allow you to stamp out points of presence in a way that if you happen to be in Asia, we'll get you to the closest POP to Asia so that you can make sure that you have the lowest amount of latency, the highest amount of performance, and the greatest amount of simplicity in which you can connect to the application that you want to connect to, whether it be a SaaS application in the cloud, whether it be a order management system that you have that's a custom-built application you have, or you want to connect just to the internet. And this should be a global architecture so that we can have many, many POPs all throughout the world that can either sit in our data center, that can sit in a public cloud data center, that can sit in a service provider data center. That would be the vision that we'd want to make sure that we pursue. Now, it's not just about connectivity, because what happens once you've actually gotten connectivity? One of the big areas that we're starting to see a huge amount of emphasis being placed is around this notion of zero trust. And so how can you provide the least privileged access to people so that they can connect in a secure manner and they don't get overprivileged with capabilities so that they might actually make a mistake and let a threat actor in? So we've actually thought about this long and hard, and we're introducing this capability called continuous trusted access. What does continuous trusted access mean? The way that trust is granted today is the point of time of login. When I log in, I grant trust. I validate that you are, in fact, who you say you are, and then you get access to certain kind of applications. Well, once you log in, then you're free to do whatever you want with the access rights that you have. We thought that we could do better. So imagine this scenario where it's Maria who's logging in from her home office on a Mac, and she wants to go out and look at Salesforce and look at all the customer records. Well, that's a very normal scenario of what Maria does. We should allow her to do that. Now imagine Maria is roaming, and she's on her iPhone, and she's trying to get to Gainsight to look at a health dashboard. Great. That also seems like a very common scenario. But now, Maria doesn't happen to be in the same location. She's in a coffee shop. She's on an unsecured network. She's on a PC that's a different PC from the one that she typically uses. And she's trying to download 6 million customer records from a Starbucks. That seems like that's probably not the way that Maria typically behaves. So can we go out and detect those anomalies in real time and intercept so that we don't allow someone pretending to be Maria to take down 6 million customer records? And that's this whole construct of continuous trusted access, where we're granting trusted access based on the behavior that you exude on a continuous basis rather than just on a one-time basis. Now, in addition to this, what you've also told us is, let's make sure that we have a unified, kind of policy management construct. So we want to make sure that we actually have a single place where you can manage your policies. You can make sure that you have an intent-based policy engine. That intent-based policy engine can be persona-driven, and that we actually don't have multiple different products. You've told us this multiple times, and so we want to make sure that we listen to you on that. And in addition to this, it has to be an open API so that you can be extensible in the way that you integrate with third parties. Now, all the things I've talked about are around prevention. How do you prevent a threat? But with security, it's all about minimization of risk. You'll never be able to eliminate risk. So we need to make sure that if a threat does, in fact, and if a breach does, in fact, occur, what do you do in that case? So what we've essentially done is provided you with an end-to-end platform that's not just around preventing threats, but that can also make sure that when there is a threat, you can effectively detect it as quickly as possible, respond and remediate that as fast as possible. And so we want to make sure that we have this kind of level of correlation across all of the things that are going on from a machine learning standpoint and provide you with what's occurring in real time. And this strategy is not just something that we want to have over a multi-year period. We're going to start showing you proof points of the strategy today. So let's talk a little bit about this, because we've had a great 2022, hundreds of innovations that we've been able to have the team kind of work on. During a very, very difficult, kind of condition where people were on COVID, but there's been a fair amount of innovation that's gone on. So what specifically, I don't have time to talk about all the innovations today, but I'm going to talk to you about a few just to let you know how we've made progress towards the security cloud. So the first one, I'm delighted to announce Secure Connect, which is our SASE service. And it's built on the Meraki platform. It's going to have remote access and SD-WAN capabilities tied together with our security platform with Umbrella. And it is something that is simple to use. In fact, let me show you what that looks like. So it's going to be easy for you to go out and take existing sites and add it to the service in just a few clicks. Right? And you're going to be ready to secure that site and the web traffic on that site with the applications very easily. Then, if you want to take remote users, just like the sites, you'll be able to take those remote users, which are critical for hybrid work, and also provision those remote users to that platform. And it just takes one click with the Meraki Cloud to authenticate. And you can also use your own SAML assertions. Number 3, it's a big area that you folks have all talked about, is what do we need to do when it comes to management? And typically, security and networking have been very separate kind of areas that have been focused on. So how do you make sure that you take the NetOps persona and SecOps persona and give them a common management dashboard? We want to make sure that we provide a common management dashboard. And lastly, we want to make sure that that common management dashboard can also allow you to set a unified set of policies from the same construct and from the same platform and the same console. And so that is Cisco plus Secure Connect now, and we're actually extremely excited to have that made available. It's available in multiple countries today, and it's going to be available in many more countries shortly. So this is something that the teams have been working on for quite a while. And so that's the first big area of innovation that you can start to think about. Now, that's not the only thing that we want to talk about. We talked about continuous trusted access. Let me talk about some of the progress we've made on continuous trusted access. And this area is extremely important. We're launching a capability called Wi-Fi fingerprinting because security and privacy don't need to be at odds. One of the big things that you look at is where are you from a geographic perspective when you're going out and kind of participating in activity. And the challenge that you've had with that is from an IP address standpoint, you always disclose the location of the person when you try to go figure out where they are. So what we've done, we've got this new capability called Wi-Fi fingerprinting. All it does is assesses the SSIDs that are close to you. It will not actually reveal your location, but it will tell you whether or not you're in a different location as a system from the first location that you were in. And that was, in fact, anomalous behavior, and should that actually go out and provide more checks before you log into the system. Right? And so that's Wi-Fi fingerprinting. We're also going to have unified management. So we are now providing cloud-delivered firewall management center. This is something that you folks have asked for a long time. Don't give me 7 different ways to go out and manage my firewalls. I want to manage my on-prem firewalls and my cloud firewalls from a cloud-delivered management center. We now have that available. And so that's going to be extremely exciting. And then lastly, one of the other really exciting areas to really think about is this notion of a unified client. Today, when you start thinking about the number of agents that you have on your desktop, you have multiple different agents on your desktop. You have an agent for AnyConnect. You might have an agent for Secure Endpoint. You might have an agent for Umbrella and DNS. What we've tried to do is make sure that instead of having all of those, we're going to have a unified agent. And we're going to start with AnyConnect, Umbrella, and Secure Endpoint, and we'll have many, many more in the next few months, so that you will eventually, the vision is to have a single agent that you can turn on with telemetry for whatever use case that you want to turn on. And lastly, we'll also make sure that we provide you with Talos, which is our threat intelligence service, but Talos services that are going to be on demand and custom for organizations. So when you have threat intelligence from us, it's not going to be generic threat intelligence. We will provide you very, very bespoke threat intelligence for your organization. Those are just some examples of the things that the team's working on. We're excited about what we can do with you in security. Look, we're all in security, and there's one big reason why. It's not just because security is a big market. It's because you cannot be in the connectivity business without being in the protection business. You have to be, and those are two intrinsic sides of the same coin. And we believe that we would love to partner with you to make sure that the world stays a safer place, because it's not just good for our customers, it's good for humanity in general. Thank you again. Look forward to working with you. And I'm going to introduce the next speaker, who's like my brother. He's a good friend. He's my partner in crime. He runs our enterprise networking business, and Cisco is all about acronyms. We call that EN. He recently had a baby. He was so dedicated. The rest of us are involved, but Todd is committed to Cisco. He named his baby Elliot so that his baby's initials are Elliot Nightingale, which is EN. My friend Todd.
It's amazing up here. You know, every year, Cisco Live, it feels like a celebration, all those years we've been here. But this year, it also feels like a reunion in sorts. My name's Todd Nightingale. I look after the enterprise networking cloud business at Cisco. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here with all of you in person. I cannot tell you how exciting it is. And like, I am honored that so many people are here with us in Las Vegas. And I want to say welcome also to everyone who's joining us remotely, who's embracing hybrid work to be at Cisco Live. I commend you. I commend you. I know your time is precious, so thank you so much for the time. I think Chuck said it perfectly. These past 3 years have been like a case study in the pace of change. At the beginning of the pandemic, we saw thousands of temporary medical sites being built overnight, and we saw an enormous amount of technology brought to bear to support that. And then we saw amazing progress. We saw people embracing telehealth and distance learning in ways we never thought possible. And many of you, just like Cisco, sent most of our workforce home practically overnight. And that was amazing. I mean, to transition our entire infrastructure so that people could work remotely after years, after decades of working together in the office. That is a testament to every network engineer, everyone who runs a VPN service, all of you who made that happen. I commend you. I mean, that was a remarkable feat. But the changes kept on coming. Changes in cyber attacks, as G2 just mentioned. Changes to the pandemic, continued global unrest. And Chuck had it right, like, this is not going to end. Tomorrow is going to be predictably unpredictable. We have to rethink how the technology we build, how the most important infrastructure we build has to change to be ready for that world. And that's why I believe that building agile technology is the most important thing that we can deliver to you. Technology that can be proactive, that can change as the demands of your group, as the demands on your technology change so rapidly at a pace we never thought possible. We have to provide from Cisco, from every infrastructure company, technology is not just powerful, but agile, so that your teams can build truly resilient, proactive infrastructure, and that everyone who depends on that technology can be as productive as possible. And for years, I'll be honest, I'm not sure that we, as an industry, or even as Cisco, I'm just not sure that we focused on this idea of agility as much as we should have. As an industry, we delivered more and more power, more sophistication every step of the way, as we built faster speeds and feeds, more complete feature set. As we drove more sophistication, we unlocked things we never thought possible. But at the same time, too often, we passed a burden of complexity onto you, onto the IT teams who wielded this technology. And we're seeing right now the impact of that. When the IT experience suffers, when the IT experience is too complex and too error-prone, we know that eventually the end user experience will suffer as well. That's why I love what Chuck said earlier. Our focus has to be on agility, and we deliver that through simplicity. By simplifying IT, we can make all of your teams not just more efficient, but more effective. And I know that by doing that, by focusing on simplicity without compromising power and sophistication, but by delivering true, simple IT, all of your teams are going to be able to unlock the power of Cisco technology in ways we never thought possible. And I believe we do that through a platform strategy. By delivering cloud platforms that are truly simple, that unlock the power of Cisco's best-in-class infrastructure and allow your teams to use it in every use case. Platforms that are powerful, that drive end-to-end automation, that drive best-in-class insights, and that help all of you power that end-user experience that matters so much. Because we know that if we deliver simple IT experiences, your teams will drive the unified experience, a compelling, powerful end-user experience for every user you have. And that's what drives outcomes for businesses, schools, and governments around the world, all the organizations that we serve. Together, with powerful, simple platforms, we can deliver that outcome. Now, I love product launch day. I do. I love all product launch days. I love launching products. But there is something special about this particular one. And I think this is special because it's such a perfect embodiment of this idea of bringing power and simplicity without compromise. And Chuck got to tease it, but I get to launch it still. Today, I am excited. I am unbelievably over the moon to launch, for the first time ever, Catalyst support on the Meraki platform. Give it up for that. It's pretty funny. Yeah. It's weirder than I thought it was going to be. Look, you guys know this is a long time coming, and it's something we've thought a lot about. We wanted to make sure we did this in the most thoughtful way, delivering this combination of simplicity and power in the best possible solution. And I just think it is incredibly important. The Catalyst technology is undeniably the most powerful campus networking equipment in the world. It's the fastest ramping product Cisco has ever had. Meraki is undeniably the simplest cloud management platform on the market, the most adopted, the highest deployed. And bringing these two things together with power and simplicity without compromise, I truly believe we can change the way IT is managed. We can carve a new path that delivers sophistication and power and simplicity. And that can change the industry. Now, this starts with an idea of adding Meraki monitoring on top of Catalyst networks that you've already deployed. And it works with the hardware you already have and the license you've already purchased. And without having to change the architecture, to change the config of that network, you can onboard it into Meraki in a monitoring mode and get unprecedented visibility. It'll allow you to do troubleshooting, to see what's really happening on the network in a simple way, and it'll put that power in the hands of every IT user, every help desk engineer, because it's so simple. It's so simple. And that troubleshooting, that monitoring, delivering the API on top of Meraki, it's so compelling. And then we continue that journey, and we'll be talking about it more today, about providing full Meraki management for Catalyst switching and Catalyst wireless as we go on. And that means no longer will we have to choose, or will any of your teams have to choose, will they buy Meraki hardware or Catalyst hardware? Catalyst infrastructure will be supported using CLI, and third-party automation will be supported in DNA Center. It'll be supported in the most state-of-the-art, simplest cloud management platform in the world. It'll be supported on the Meraki dashboard. I cannot tell you how excited I am. And you all know that this is years in the making, and we've been talking about the potential of this for a long time, so it doesn't count unless you get to see it. Let's take a look. So here we go. This is the Meraki dashboard that many of us know and love. It's a new look and feel. It's beautiful. And here I can see the full topology view, which is awesome. I can see the entire network, all the switches connected. And now I can see a stacked 9500 right in that topology. Catalyst and Meraki, man, that's crazy. It's crazy. With this, it's incredibly powerful. We can see everything about the switch port configurations, traffic flows, every connected client, and we can perform troubleshooting even in the monitoring mode, like looking at clients and even cycling the port to reset a PoE device. It's real power delivered even in the monitoring mode without having to change the configuration. And really, that's the simplest path to cloud management. But we can take it further. Here we have a CAT 9300 that's being fully managed in the Meraki cloud. Right in the Meraki cloud, looks like any other switch, almost can't tell. But if we click on that, we'll be able to see all of the insights the Meraki platform has, including VLAN mismatch, the scourge of our industry for generations, VLAN mismatch. And I can see a suggested fix, and with a simple click, I can remediate just like any other Meraki device. It is awesome, it is powerful, and it is simple. I can also roll out large changes. In Meraki, we manage entire networks, not individual devices. So I can make a segmentation change across an entire network here with a single click of a button. It's power and simplicity without compromise. And I think it's the future of infrastructure across the board. It's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think there is something truly special about this. Simplicity and power that can be delivered through a cloud platform. The era of Catalyst Meraki is upon us. But we can take that further. We can take it to the next step. And that's exactly what we've done. That's why the Meraki Catalyst is not the only launch today. I'm super excited to launch, in addition, Nexus Cloud. Management for the Nexus portfolio, Nexus fabrics, in a fully cloud-managed platform, just like Meraki. Nexus Cloud is part of the Intersight platform, and I think it will revolutionize the way we look at not just managing data center fabrics, but entire private clouds. And it is also incredibly simple and incredibly powerful. And I want to thank everyone here who's a Nexus user, because it's your feedback that drove the most core features in Nexus Cloud and the real focus on simplicity that I think mattered most. So let's take a look. Here I can log into Nexus Cloud, Elliot Nightingale, love it. And I can start my journey by onboarding my fabric. Now I can onboard an ACI fabric with a controller, or I can onboard an NXOS switch directly. If I did the controller, it would pull all the switches underneath it. But even if I do the switch, it will actually discover the switches underneath it and import them into the Nexus Cloud, which is amazing. And then I get a view of all the sites. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it starts to do the analysis. Here we can gather telemetry from every device, and we can even deliver automated correlation and remediation. With this dynamic topology, you can see every endpoint, every virtual machine, every server, every switch on the network. And this means there's no outdated network diagram sitting somewhere in a cubicle. You can see both physical and logical layouts of the network right in Nexus Cloud. And we've really taken the care to focus on simplicity. And all of your teams told us it was upgrades of the fabrics was maybe the most important thing we need to make simple and fast. And that's exactly what we've done here. With a single click, Nexus Cloud will create an upgrade plan that minimizes downtime and will actually execute that plan in one click, instead of a program manager and 4 weeks and tons of downtime. I cannot tell you how important I think that feature is, and I do want to thank everyone who's made me believe how important it is. There's going to be powerful features in Nexus Cloud as well, like environmental features that track energy consumption. And as we move forward, Nexus Cloud is only going to get more powerful as we start to even make recommendations to how to limit your power consumption and help everyone achieve your net zero goals, just like we are trying to do it at Cisco. We've had amazing customer feedback on Nexus Cloud so far, and I'm super excited about this path forward. I really am. There's something special here about bringing our technology to the cloud because it allows us to start to integrate across the cloud. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay. Allows us to integrate across the cloud, and you saw it from G2 just a minute ago. Secure Connect Now is an amazing example of this, of bringing our platforms together, not just networking platforms, but across domains, and deep integration between our networking, Meraki platform, and the security platform to provide one unified SASE solution with one unified and simple, radically simpler user experience. And I cannot tell you how important I think that's going to be. I think this launch, it's important for all of us, and I think everyone who gets to use it, please check it out on the floor. But it is so important for kind of the path forward for Cisco, this idea that we can combine domains into one user experience, stop shipping our org chart, and bring you simplicity and power without compromise. There's one more thing. All of these platforms, the strategy of bringing our technology to cloud platforms, it has to come with the idea of embedding best-in-class technology, of imbuing these platforms with deep intelligence. And for years, we have been focused on how to deliver real, powerful insights leveraging machine learning. And that's why I'm super excited to announce Thousand Eyes WAN Insights here today as well. It is the first, I think it is the first example of true predictive network intelligence. It doesn't just leverage machine learning to understand what's happening and what might be wrong now, but actually predicts outages that have yet to happen and will allow you to remediate them in real time. It is so powerful and so unique. I can't tell you how excited I am about it, and I just want to give you a quick look at it right now. Here you can see we're looking at the total global enterprise and Thousand Eyes, and we can see all of our sites. It's a beautiful cloud platform, obviously. Now, too often we think about managing our infrastructure to optimize performance, but that's wrong. We have to think about managing the user experience. We have to manage the applications, because it's the applications that matter. That's what drives user experience. And we can drive that by making the best possible network policy decisions based on user experience. So here, we can see for all our critical apps like Office 365 and Voice, we can see a forecasted experience, and we can see a measurable improvement, a forecasted improvement if you accept that recommendation. We also know which sites to prioritize based on how much improvement they'll gain, and we do all of this by continuously tracking the accuracy of the forecast so you know how much benefit you'll get by taking it, and you know that WAN Insights is always getting smarter and improving itself. You can drill in to see individual path insights for any particular application, and you can understand which paths are available as you move forward. It is incredibly powerful, and this is so key. As we bring this technology to the cloud, we have to think about making our platforms more powerful at the same time as making them simple. That's what's so important. Power and simplicity without compromise. And this is how we're going to deliver it. Bringing our technology to the cloud, integrating them closely to build unified IT experiences, and imbuing those platforms with deep intelligence, with powerful, sophisticated features, so that we can truly deliver power and simplicity without compromise. And this journey is something we are deeply committed to. It is our true north, power, simplicity without compromise. We're committed to these platforms that deliver end-to-end automation across access, campus, WAN, and data center. Platforms that offer better telemetry for our solutions, that offer predictive intelligence, that offer a more predictable, a more consistent API and automation framework, and platforms that bring together a single unified solution. And the reason that it's so important that we think about this unified solution is that we know if we provide power and simplicity without compromise to your teams, then you will deliver the best possible outcome to every user, no matter where they are, no matter who they are, no matter what work they are doing. And that is the best way, together, we can power an inclusive future for all. Thank you so much. Thanks for the time today. And with that, I'd love to announce our Chief Strategy Officer, Liz Santoni. Liz.
Morning. Love the power of experiences. Love to hear Jim Farley at Ford talk about experiences. And when you think about it, great experiences create loyal customers. Digital transformation, it's about experience transformation. Think about it. Almost every business out there is interacting with their consumers. We're mobile and web applications. And all of us as consumers, we have high expectations. We have very little patience. We have high expectations of apps and services where we want them to just simply work. We want it to be personalized. We want it to be simple. And when it doesn't work, we just pick another option out there. But when you look at every individual business, it's hard for them to just snap their fingers and improve the digital experience. So when you think about it, every business has one chance to impress. Fail to do that, and we as loyal customers, we'll walk away. We'll find something else. We're now in the experience economy, and what we'll see is a lot of experiences getting even more immersive, more virtualized, more augmented. And application security, the performance, and trust is going to be at the center of all of it. Now, when you think about it, every business loves digital transformation and making their products available digitally, because it's great, and you heard Jim talk about it as well. You develop a product, you can scale it to millions of users in a pretty speedy time. You can add new services even after you've gotten that product out to market. So it's great, you can scale. It's speedy, it's flexible as well. But with that opportunity comes challenges as well. I mean, think about all the environment that we're in. We have a mix of applications, as Chuck just talked about. You have your traditional applications. It's critical. You're not going to do anything about it. You're refactoring some of their applications. You have newer applications that you've built more cloud native. And because of that, there's a deluge of data that's coming out. Great, we love containers, have been around for a long time. But these thousands of containers and microservices, they're spawning data. They're spawning metric events, logs, and data out there. Your application has so much more dependency than you ever did before. And then you're trying to scale it to millions of users as well. And then when you think about who is involved in actually developing and delivering the application and improving the experience, there's a lot of people. You have NetOps, SecOps, AppOps, DevOps, and all of them have to work together to deliver the experience. So there's multiple challenges, and traditional monitoring. I mean, we've built a ton of those monitoring tools as well. Traditional monitoring helps, for sure, but it helps you have your dashboard, you get your alerts, you know what you have in terms of performance, what's the availability of your services, but it does it just in that domain. You don't get a chance to really know, hey, if there's an issue in my domain, how's it impacting the overall application? How's it impacting the user experience? And I know the industry has evolved to where, we've moved to more active telemetry ingestion. There's faster root cause analysis within each domain. But we believe that there's more that needs to happen to be able to deliver a really good user experience. And this is why we wanted to move to full stack observability with business context. It starts with visibility. Visibility that you get via real-time telemetry ingestion. Visibility into everything that's actually impacting your application, everything that your application is dependent on. And insights that derive from common, correlated, actually contextualized first, and correlated data. This is cross-domain data. That gives you an insight into not just what happened and where it happened, but actually how's it impacting your business. There's a lot of alerts that you get. So how do you make sure that you actually are focusing on the alerts that actually matter most in terms of the business impact? And then the ability to take actions and take these actions across different domains as well to optimize for your cost, optimize for increased revenue, and security as well. And the way we bring this together is with 3 of our integrated capabilities. We have 3 of our SaaS products today that are integrated. App Dynamics, which actually delivers application performance monitoring, digital experience monitoring, which by the way includes end user monitoring as well as application security, which we introduced last year for your applications in runtime. And by the way, AppDynamics has this great capability called Business Insights that takes the performance issues and it ties it to what matters most to your business. What should I address first? And then you have Thousand Eyes, actually, what Todd just talked about, which brings this deep internet and network visibility. So you can actually say, is the network the issue? Is it an internet issue that's actually impacting my user experience? And then with Intersight, which is our multi-cloud and orchestration and management platform, you get hybrid infrastructure management, as well as native Kubernetes and infrastructure as code for automation. Now, we bring these together not just as 3 separate tools, we're integrating it together to deliver outcomes in performance, outcomes in optimization, and outcomes in security as well. These are the number of use cases that you've said that matter most to you. In fact, a couple of recent comments that I hear most often from customers is, I love that you actually have integrated deeply with Thousand Eyes, because it gives me that visibility into, is it the network issue or not? I understand more in terms of my environment, as well as what's impacting my user experience, and I love the fact that I can do it where I can find the root cause analysis, including for SaaS productivity tools as well. And we want to take the guesswork out of optimization. Not just, again, provision for something when you deploy the application, but do it such that the application is dynamic. Why not make the infrastructure dynamic to the changing needs of the application? And that's what we're doing with the capabilities, not just for traditional application, but for cloud-native applications as well. And we heard you loud and clear last year when the feedback that you gave us that where application security can't just be in runtime when my application is deployed. I need to do it much earlier on in development. And tomorrow we'll talk about this some more, and we've got a demo tomorrow about this as well, where we've developed tools like API Clarity and Panoptica that actually gives you visibility into your API traffic, helps you catalog the APIs in your environment, both your internal APIs as well as your external APIs, assess the risk of those APIs, give it a reputational score that's dynamic. So your developers can then integrate this into their development environment as well. For us, it is key in terms of how we bring application monitoring and security monitoring to discover the vulnerabilities and act on it. I think now's a good time to roll a video that actually brings this all together so you can see the end-to-end experience. Please roll the video.
Welcome to the app-first world, where digital business is imperative. And 500 million apps will be created by 2023, more than ever made in human history. People have embraced a digital-first life, and they aren't turning back. The modern app environment spans multiple public clouds, hybrid environments, and SaaS-based services, including third-party and external vendors. Even today's hotel and resorts business looks very different. Resorts have to compete based on digital experiences and allow their guests to use smartphones to book rooms, pay digital keys, order room service, book resort amenities, and bring their app experience with them everywhere. While this experience is simple, what's going on behind the scenes is far more complex. In modern application environments, IT teams, operations, and developers interact with a wide range of systems and APIs that need to connect and work together seamlessly. They need to be agile, move fast, use third-party services, and of course, be secure. This complex environment includes front-end mobile development, back-end cloud development, customer data, account consistency, plus updating cloud back-end and mobile front-end. We're connecting these environments together. Cisco gets applications. Our customers represent thousands of global enterprises, building, modernizing, and deploying all types of business-critical applications. We help customers bring all their teams together to deliver an exceptional experience for the end user. Let's see how. Full Stack Observability monitors the performance of applications across the entire technology stack, helping teams prioritize so that room service is delivered right on time, every time. It provides optimization focused on understanding issues with AI and ML to ultimately predict problems before they occur, so you always have the resources you need, even if all the guests book a tour with the concierge at the same time. And Full Stack Observability delivers security to both resorts and their guests, providing solutions to help customers adopt application security from development to runtime. So when it's time to check out, personal information is protected and transactions are compliant. you need to see more to solve more. With Cisco Full Stack Observability, you can deliver an exceptional experience for end users every time.
And that's our goal, to deliver the end-to-end experience every single time. Now, for your cloud-native applications that more and more of you are developing and delivering out there, we've created AppDynamics Cloud. That's what we're launching out today. Please go and see that on the show floor. Now, the majority of the apps in your application in your environment, even though they're mission critical, they have solutions. What AppDynamics Cloud does is gives you 360 degrees visibility and insights for your cloud-native applications as well. Our focus really was on being able to design something that was intuitive, usable, and simple. And that you'll see that as you experience this. Now, AppDynamics Cloud will be available at the end of this month. The same APM agents that you use for AppD today, you can actually use that for AppDynamics Cloud as well, or you can use those same APM agents to feed both solutions. We had a few customers who actually took a look at this in our early access programs, and you can see the feedback where they've talked about maximizing business outcomes and customer experiencing, accelerating the time to detection and resolution of issues, and enabling investment protection. These are real business results that customers are seeing today itself. The roadmap is rich. We're investing in a lot of capabilities, more AI and ML, more automation, especially of those actions, more integrations across the Cisco portfolio, deeper integration with Thousand Eyes and real user monitoring. We have in the roadmap integrations with Talos and SecureX. It's really bringing the best of the possibilities of Cisco together. And let's take a sneak preview before you go see this on the show floor. Please roll the video of AppDynamics Cloud. So, great, I love hearing from the AppD Cloud there. So a customer's digital experience is as important, even more important, and probably than the products and services that you deliver. And full stack observability from Cisco is fueling that experience economy. Now, exceptional experiences require exceptional connectivity. Who better to talk about it than Jonathan Davidson? Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to stick with the theme of being super excited to be live here at Cisco Live. This is not my first Cisco. The first Cisco Live I presented at wasn't Cisco Live. It was Networkers, 1999 in France. So I've been doing this for a little bit. I am super excited to be here with all of you to share all of the great technologies that we have. I lead the mass scale infrastructure group. And the first question I usually get from people is, what is the mass scale infrastructure group and what do you actually do? Well, we're responsible for building the products and the technologies that help build the largest networks in the planet with all of you. The most sophisticated network. Our customers are the hyperscalers. They're the communication service providers. These are public agencies. These are large enterprises. There are many of you here in the room. And our team is driven by a very powerful basic purpose. We are here to transform networking and create new possibilities and improve affordability so that everyone can benefit and thrive. All right. Now, our engineers, they live to push the boundaries of technology. They find ways to create breakthroughs in so many different areas around efficiency, scale, reliability, and as you've heard today, around simplicity as well. Now, and able to do this is nothing short of amazing, because when you build the networks of epic sizes like all of you do, just the tiniest of details can have such a profound difference. And I'll give you one example. Things like Cisco Silicon One, you've heard a little bit about it. Cisco Silicon One is by far the best routing and switching silicon in the world. In fact, it only consumes 2.25 watts of power for every 100 gig port. And in a system that actually only consumes 1/3 of the power of our closest competition. That is true innovation. Now, one of our customers, Deutsche Telekom, actually, when they replaced their IP core with this technology, they consume 90% less power, talking about meeting your net zero goals for the future. Now, as we all know, the internet has never been more critical than it is today, right now. But I think many of you might agree it needs an overhaul. We have an opportunity in front of us to connect 3 billion more people that are either underserved or unconnected. But we believe that the future has never been more exciting than it is now, and we're not alone in that. In fact, 9 out of 10 enterprises believe that mobility and IoT are important for their future business. In fact, you heard earlier today when Chuck was talking to Jim Farley at Ford as one of those customers. I just want to share with you that coincidentally, I actually took my driver's license test a very long time ago in a beautiful car called the Ford Aerostar. It was gray, silver on top, it was navy blue on the bottom, and the chicks digged it quite a bit. All right, now over time, what has excited me about cars has changed pretty significantly. We live in an era of the connected car, and that is so powerful, and there's so many things that we're able to do with that connected car platform. And as you heard from Jim Farley, the automotive industry has been around for 100 years, but there's a lot of changes happening right now. They have electrification, they have autonomous manufacturing, they have vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure. And they have all this fantastic new in-car experiences that are happening today. Cars are so much more than what they were in the past. They're so much more than just connecting from point A to point B. Cars have become movie theaters. They've become our remote offices, and on occasion they've been known to be a private karaoke studio for me as well, maybe for you. Now, the connected car is a great example of what can be reimagined when you actually pull together connectivity like 4G and 5G networking. One of the best kept secrets, in my opinion, at Cisco is we have the #1 connected management platform with over 80 million connected cars coming into Cisco data centers around the world with over 60 different communication service providers. In fact, we have over 200 million IoT things on 3G, 4G, and 5G networks with those 60 partners around the world. But it's enough to hear from me. I would like to share with you with Darren Palmer, who's the Vice President of the Ford electric vehicle programs, as well as Tim Schlusser, who's the Chief of Mobility Innovation for the city of Detroit, Michigan, to tell you in their own words how they are working with Cisco to transform what they're doing.
Ford is on a mission to help transform the automotive industry. We're pushing into electric architectures, building software expertise, and driving the fully connected car experience forward. We're changing the customer relationship, so it's no longer just transactional, it's every day.
Cisco is building a digital nervous system for the new age of information, using the network to connect, secure, and move data from sensors and the Internet of Things through edge intelligence, up to the cloud, and down to the people.
This digital transformation allows organizations, communities, and people to instantly harness the power of data to unleash new possibilities.
This transformation is so critical. That's why the city of Detroit is here to put it in human terms. For every accident, there's many more near misses. And for every near miss, there's even more safety hazards down the path. Having access to and sharing real-time data will let our citizens know when and where these hazards and risks exist today, and it will let us predict and possibly prevent them in the future. This could not only change the way that cities and roads are run, it could positively impact the environment, congestion, and ultimately, it will help save lives.
From digital transformation, this is the beginning. We're giving voice to the machines on factory floors and vision to vehicles on the go. It gives new purpose to how cars are used and connects people when it matters most.
Imagine a world where vehicles get data from a network of sensors that are embedded in the roadways or the intersections, even buried within the concrete. Well, most of the technology is already here. This digital transformation stands to completely change the relationship with our customers, redefining our business model and giving us a path to the future. The network is key to help make this 20-year vision a reality.
All right, as Darren explained, the network is absolutely critical to how Ford has changed the way that their cars are built, how they're used, and how they're enjoyed. You know, in fact, right here in Vegas, right now, Cisco is partnering with Verizon to create connected intersections to offer a safer roadway experience, and you can see a demo of that. This change that we're seeing with connected cars, I believe, is as revolutionary as splitting the atom. And just like nuclear fission, there is a chain reaction of possibilities. You know, adjacent industries such as healthcare, insurance, first responders, and so many more like shipping can be redefined and reimagined with connected transportation. I'll give you an example. My brother was a paramedic for many, many years, and he would share with me that he would have a patient in the back of his ambulance. He knew what to do with them, but for insurance purposes, he couldn't do it because he needed a doctor's approval. But the doctor wouldn't give the approval because they hadn't seen the patient and they didn't have the telemetry. With connected ambulances, we have the ability to get the telemetry from the patient to a doctor to save time and potentially save lives. This is something that can really impact each and every single one of us. And so why does this change, or why does this matter to us? Well, most of us aren't in the automotive industry, but the whole aspect of connectivity to the cars is fundamentally transformational. If you really just peel back the details, what we're talking about is the ability for our IT teams and our operational teams to come together to drive new outcomes. You can take the data from sensors, from machines, and our IT systems and pull them together and get new insights and applications, and then push that information out into cars and so forth. Now, this data can be more securely shared as well between different agencies. It could be from a car company and a municipality, and it could be shared securely. Wouldn't it be nice, for example, to be able to have your car detect a pothole and directly report that to a municipality? I am not a fan of potholes. I've been stranded a few times because I hit one with my car and got a flat. But by connecting these people, places, and things, companies like Ford are free to reinvent their businesses, their products, their processes, and create new value. This is going to change the world as profoundly as the cloud has for the past decade. And this potential really exists in every single industry: manufacturing, hospitality, retail, healthcare, and Cisco is here to help. Any Industry 4.0 transition first begins with the network. Well, we had the conversation. Is it Wi-Fi or is it 5G? Well, the good news is, if it's Wi-Fi, that's great. We have a phenomenal portfolio, and you heard more about how that portfolio is getting extended with Todd this morning. But if you actually think that you might need a private 5G solution, that's great. We have one. It's a private 5G solution as a service, and it's going to be delivered through our systems integrators and through our communications service providers around the world. The good news is that it works with your existing Wi-Fi policy and security solutions. The goal is to get to meaningful outcomes as quickly as humanly possible without having to waste time or having choice fatigue, because we know there's a lot of options out there. We also acknowledge that these types of transformations are very big, they're very bold, and there's a lot at stake, and it could be downright frightening. But going all in on transformation like this doesn't mean you need to be alone. For transformation of this magnitude, Cisco is here to help you reduce the time, the cost, and the risk to come into a successful outcome. You don't have to do it yourself, because mistakes can be catastrophic and delays can kill your opportunity in this critical space. As the industry leader in mobility, collaboration, security, and networking, we can be your trusted partner for this transformational change, and that can happen at any scale. Our ecosystems of service providers and systems integrators are here to help you transformation. In fact, we've been working on industrial IoT for many, many years. In fact, for the past 4 years, we've been ranked the #1 provider in connected utilities. In manufacturing, we actually have a customer that actually helped decrease their manufacturing time, assembly time by 20%, and improve their defect detection by 90%. These are real outcomes. Together with our partners, we're able to deliver IoT and 5G as a service so that it's simple, it's intuitive, it's trusted, and our partners are really the ones that are making a huge difference in this area. Now, we have several breakouts. You can go see that Ford Mach-E. You can see the WebEx integration with that. And go take a look. I highly recommend that you check them out. All right. Now, just last month, I had an opportunity to travel to Davos at the World Economic Forum and talk to industry leaders about this industrial transformation that's happening. And one thing that's abundantly clear, the internet is the engine for economies, education, and the daily life. This is well known. But it would not be as well known as, unfortunately, not everyone equally participates. In fact, there are 3 billion people who remain unconnected or underserved in this space. And in fact, most of those live in rural or underdeveloped areas where the cost can be, by income, 10 times greater than those in developed areas. Being on the wrong side of that digital divide is absolutely crippling, and the problem statement actually compounds over time. So this requires innovation to break the status quo, because think about this, bandwidth availability should not be an obstacle to the success of anyone across the planet. We need the internet to be accessible both in rural areas as well as impoverished areas. For all to participate, we must change the economics of the internet, transforming the architecture so that we have the massive scale required for 5G and beyond. This is our motivation to reinvent the internet for the future. Cisco's advancements in silicon, optics, software, and systems are transformational and allow us to redefine the internet architecture and redefine economics. We call this transformation routed optical network, and there's a great demo you can see. It was packed yesterday. I'm sure we'll be packed again today. Routed optical networking is an architecture that enables us to take the 3 layers that are out there today of optical, OTN, and IP and simplify them into a single automated infrastructure, which enables you to save 50% of what you're doing today from a CapEx and OpEx perspective, and we believe there'll be even more savings in the future. And we know there will be more savings because we're aggressively investing in R&D required in this space. And an example of that is Cisco Silicon One. In fact, we've already have gone out with 11 variations of Silicon One in the last 2.5 years. Now, it usually takes 2 to 3 years to have just one variation. So this whole transformational change in the variations and the speed of delivery is absolutely amazing. But it's not just there for the internet backbone. We've actually extended this capability into enterprise networking as well under the Catalyst. Because of Cisco Silicon One, we're confident that we're going to lead in the networking space for the next decade. And Cisco is all in on transforming the internet for the future. And Cisco's all in on everything that we're doing together here with you. I hope you share our excitement about the future. I know Cisco and Chuck and the ELT shared some amazing innovations with all of you today. We introduced Cloud Managed Catalyst, Nexus Cloud, Secure Connect, Thousand Eyes WAN Insights, full stack observability, and of course, IoT, 5G, and the internet for the future. And while there's a lot of sophisticated technology that goes into making all these things happen, all these innovations, to make them more unified, secure, predictable, and simple, great technology should actually do the work for you and not require more work from you. And guess what? This is just day one. Tomorrow you're going to hear even more exciting innovations about how these advancements set the stage for the future of hybrid work. So I encourage everyone to go all in on Cisco Live, but perhaps not at the craps tables or not at the poker tables. Have fun, be curious, go see that awesome Ford Mach-E. And for those fortunate of you who'd be here actually live at Cisco Live, you know what? Discover and discuss the ideas among this phenomenal assembly of your industry peers. So with that, I want to say thank you very much and enjoy the week.